Hello and welcome back to some MTG Vintage Cube. And I love seeing a Mind Twist. That card is so broken. We're going to first pick that thing right up. Other considerations in the pack include the Prismatic Vista if we wanted to stay open. But that's probably about it. Maybe the Dack Fayden if we want to go that direction. But blue is so overdrafted. I like just starting on this black card. All right, here in Pack 2, a couple lands I like here. Bloodstained Mire, Arid Mesa. Black-red's pretty strong, so happy to pick up the Bloodstained Mire and just start fixing for some mana early. All right, Pack 3. Yeah, Thoughtseize. That's exactly where we want to be. Mind Twist, Thoughtseize. Let's totally just eat our opponent's hand. That's about it in this pack. There's no red cards that we want. Here's a Lava Claw Reaches, Night Whisper. There's a Grist though. Grist is really strong. And we may be black-green. The Bloodstained Mire could fetch up a Bayou if we need it to. So we'll throw the Grist in here. Next pack, Fast Bond, Misty Rainforest, Infernal Grasp, Escape to the Wilds. Infernal Grasp is okay. Mostly filler as removal, but removal is good. Shield Breaker if we want to try some red stuff. Escape to the Wilds as well, but I think I want to stay on the Infernal Grasp. Here's an Overgrown Tomb, which is perfect for our fetch land, and a Damnation and a Blackleaf Cliffs. But I really think with the Bloodstained Mire, we just got to get the dual land while we can. All right, here's a Shriekmaw, a Windswept Heath, which can also get Overgrown Tomb, Godless Shrine, Assassin's Trophy, excuse me. So you can see that black-green cards are coming around. There's a Gaia's Cradle as well, but right now we have 0 creatures. So I'm leaning towards either the Assassin's Trophy or the Shriekmaw, and the Shriekmaw is a pretty decent 2-for-1 value, so we'll throw it in here. There's a Nurturing Peatland, also Sylvan Caryatid. Sylvan Caryatid. Oh, and a Collective Brutality. I like all these cards. Caryatid can fix in case we want to splash into a third color as well. So we'll pick up the Caryatid. And then Woe Strider, Phyrexian Revoker, and Augur of Autumn. I don't think I necessarily want to be double green. So let's get the Phyrexian Revoker. It can really shut down some hard cards to deal with. I will, however, pick up this Fyndhorn Elves. This is a good pickup to help us ramp into the Grist if we need to. And looks like we're rounding out pack 1 here. Lava Claw Reaches for the board. I don't know if we're going to be black, red, green yet, but we'll leave that option open. Oh, look, a 15th pick Assassin Trophy. Nice. Not the strongest card. You kind of 2-for-1s yourself since they get to put a land out, but it can deal with some troublesome cards. All right, moving into pack 2 here. Ooh, this pack is kind of a miss for what we're looking for. There are no black cards in here. There's a Raphelos, but we're not playing green ramp. A Garruk could be okay. A Polluted Delta for some more fixing. There's also a Scrap Heap Scrounger. So that's kind of what we're looking at, is maybe the Garruk and the Scrap Heap Scrounger. And I kind of expect that the Scrap Heap will wheel. So we'll pick the Garruk up and hope to get the Scrounger on the wheel. Okay, this pack has all the black cards. Gitrog, Massacre Worm, Birds of Paradise, and a Murderous Rider. I think we got to take the Birds of Paradise though. Again, just ramping into a 3-mana Planeswalker and fixing for green and black and potential third color splash. So I like that pickup. Here in the next pack, there's a Lotus Petal, Questing Beast, Birthing Pod. Doesn't look like we're a pod deck, and Ophiomancer's okay, but let's get Questing Beast. It can sneak in some damage pretty well, and it can take care of Planeswalkers, so I like the utility on the Questing Beast. There's a Rex Sage and a Dauthi Voidwalker. I think Rex Sage is probably the pickup here, just 2-for-1ing our opponent again. So it looks like we're, basically just Golgari value right now. And here we have a choice between Smuggler's Copter and Necromancy. Well, right now, Grist can make 1/1s, and our Fyndhorn Elves is a 1/1, and Garruk makes Wolves. I still think Smuggler's Copter is probably the right pickup here, though Necromancy is pretty interesting, specifically when we have cards like Mind Twist and a lot of removal. But I know I'll be able to play the Smuggler's Copter in any deck just because it's colorless, and so we'll take it here. And here's a choice between Snuff Out and Deathcap Glade and an Entomb. Now, Snuff Out's really strong because it costs 0 mana. Any cards in the Vintage Cube that are free to cast are very strong, and I highly recommend you pick them up. And then here's a Bayou to really round out our fixing with 2 dual lands. Endurance, Nighthawk Scavenger, Temple Garden, but we'll pick up the Scavenger. See, and there's that Scrap Heap Scrounger on the wheel. Things are coming together here. Ooh, Massacre Worm and Murderous Rider. I think we want Massacre Worm. It's just a little bit more upside. We already have ways to deal with Planeswalkers with the Grist, so I don't think we're doing the black-red thing and probably not playing Damnation right now. All right, here we are rounding out pack 2. Jin-Gitaxi's going pretty late. It's a very expensive card that doesn't do a lot, does not impact the battlefield when it's cast. So Jin-Gitaxi's, I think, is not a great fit for the Vintage Cube. Happy to pick up this Dauthi Voidwalker, especially with a Mind Twist and a Thoughtseize. None of these cards are going to make the deck. There's an Entomb. Maybe we're doing some Reanimator shenanigans. Maybe. All right, pack 3. There's a Mox Pearl. Not really the Mox we're looking for. A Natural Order, but I don't think we're doing the big green creature thing. I really kind of think the Hexdrinker is the card I should pick up in here. But with the Mox Pearl, you just can't pass fast mana like this, even if it's off color. So we'll pick up the Pearl. And here we have choice between Scavenging Ooze, Makeshift Manigan, and Bloodchief's Thirst. But I like Scavenging Ooze just to deal with opponents' Graveyard Matters synergies. Here's a Duress and a Blooming Marsh and an Exhume. So again, a lot of good black-green cards I see coming around here. I want the Duress, I think, just to interact with our opponent's hand a little bit more. So we'll pick that one up. Noble Hierarch. If it was the Ignoble Hierarch, that'd be much better. Maelstrom Pulse, Skyclave Shade. I think I want the Shade here. I'm trying to go a little more aggressive in this Golgari deck. Here's a Demonic Tutor versus a Tovolar's Huntmaster. I think I'd rather just have the top end right now because I doubt this Tovolar's would wheel. Yeah, so we're looking at kind of like an aggressive Golgari disruption deck. I like the number of creatures we have right now, 14. I don't think we're doing the Reanimator thing, so we'll get the Entomb out of here. There's a Mesmeric Fiend. Ooh, and there's a Pest Infestation. So Matt Grenier, he's currently the trophy leader here in the Vintage Cube. He stands by this card, and I've been wanting to try it. So yeah, we have a Rexage, but this Pest Infestation seems really interesting, and I want to give it a try out here. If the trophy leader thinks it's good, then I think it's going to be good enough for our deck. There's a Garruk Wildspeaker. Again, need to make some cuts. We're at 27 and I guess 4 lands, so we're kind of at just the right amount of cards right now. Throwing in a bad lands just because we can search it up with the Bloodstained Mire. I will take out the Rexage since we do have the Pest Infestation as a replacement. And right now this is looking like the deck. All right, Reanimate versus Elder Gargaroth. Either one of these could make the deck. We're killing enough things that we could just reanimate our opponent's creatures. So I think we're going to go that way. And it may be a while before we get up to 5 mana for the Gargaroth. Regisaur fits right in. Here's a Bloodchief's Thirst. A Toski and an Exhume. I think Toski, but it's probably for the board. Whisperwood Elemental. Yeah, all the wheels. Ooh, and also a Maelstrom Pulse. I actually like that one a little bit better because it can get rid of troublesome cards. So we have all the removal we need. Planeswalkers, creatures, artifacts, enchantments. It's all kind of covered. Some hand hate and some aggressive creatures. Hopefully we can knock out some wins with this deck. Arcana of Valor's Reach for the board, and a Garruk Wildspeaker probably for the board. Okay, here's how the deck ended up. I cut a couple more creatures, but we have a lot of good 2-drops, so we're an aggressively slanted Golgari deck. We got a lot of hand hate, Thoughtseize, Duress, Mind Twist, a lot of removal, ways to deal with Planeswalkers, currently in the sideboard with Assassin's Trophy and Maelstrom Pulse here in the main board. So I'm excited to see how this one works out, and let's go into match 1. All right, welcome to match 1. We are on the draw. Not a lot of action in that one, even though there is a Thoughtseize. I think we got to send that one back and mulligan. Ooh, this second hand, this looks a lot better. We still have hand interaction with Duress, and we have a turn 2 play, a Fyndhorn Elves, and a Pest Infestation, so hopefully we can draw well. There's a target for Pest Infestation, Retrofitter Foundry. That card's been popping up a lot. I have not drafted it, but I see it a lot across the table. All right, we draw a Shriekmaw. Pretty good for removal, not good for artifact creature removal like the Retrofitter Foundry creates. So the question, do we leave it on Fyndhorn Elves or do we lead on Duress? So they could make a 1/1 colorless servo next turn. They'll eat their whole turn, so let's go ahead and Duress them, see what's going on. I love just the value of seeing what's in our opponent's hand as well. Teferi and Ugin in a Lodestone Golem. Okay, well, let's get the Teferi out. The Ugin's a ways away. We'll pass the turn. Unfortunately, this Shriekmaw cannot deal with this Lodestone Golem. All right, and they play a Mox Ruby. All right. So they got Retrofitter Foundry up. I guess we'll get down the Scrap Heap Scrounger. Potential for getting down this Fyndhorn Elves. I know they're going to play Lodestone Golem next turn, but this will get a little pressure on the board. Our opponent does make a servo end of turn. I really want to be able to blow two things up. I'm going to want to have to deal with this Lodestone Golem and the Retrofitter Foundry. Unfortunately, the Golem's going to tax our Pest Infestation here, so we're going to need 6 mana. Yeah, unfortunately, the Shriekmaw just doesn't kill anything here. It's kind of unfortunate. All right, well, we'll cast Fyndhorn Elves, pay the tax for the Golem, and pass the turn. We may take some damage here. At least the Lodestone Golem is also taxing our opponent's Ugin, but they're a bit ways from that. They have 5 mana. They cast a Crucible. Interesting. Ooh, there's a Mox Pearl. So this is why you draft fast mana. First of all, Mox Pearl is not tapped. I mean, what else would, like, even though it's off color, it's going to enable this play this turn. So I think we just got to take care of the Retrofitter Foundry and the Lodestone Golem. And this is going to make 4 Pest tokens. This is great. So definitely a 2-for-1, plus we're left over with 4 1/1 bodies, which is not insignificant. All right, they make another servo, kind of expected, but our Scrap Heap Scrounger can get in. And now we have a little bit of a board here. Our opponent's still holding that Ugin. Yeah, they can't really attack. I really wish this Shriekmaw could do something. Ooh, there's a Skyclave Shade. Yeah, that'll be a great play. We can play that with Kicker. Let's just Alpha Strike here. These 4 little Pest tokens are going to get in for some decent damage. So 2-for-1 your opponent. Trade with a servo. Deal 3 damage. Gain a life so far. Pest Infestation doing some great work. And we'll kick this Skyclave Shade. So it comes in as a 5/3. And our opponent's down at 8. They got to deal with this. They're facing lethal on board right now. We are holding a Shriekmaw. So any creature they play that's not black or an artifact will be able to deal with. All right. Fractured Identity, pretty good. At least the Skyclave comebacks in as a 3/1, but it can't block. Unfortunately, this Shriekmaw still can't kill the Skyclave Shade. All right, this Shriekmaw is going to have to get sided out, but we'll be able to attack in for 6 damage again. So these Pest tokens have done 6 damage now total. We will just play the Shriekmaw here as another threat, I suppose. Okay. Our opponent wants to go to sideboarding, and so do I. Okay, so I think we have some decent changes to make. I'm going to want all the artifact hate we can get. So Rexage in. We could bring in the Assassin's Trophy as well. Shriekmaw's got to come out because we did see the Planeswalkers, and I want to be able to deal with them as well. So we'll keep questing beasts in. Snuff Out can kill artifact creatures, just not black creatures. So we'll probably keep that in as well. I mean, we already have the Maelstrom Pulse in, so we may not need to bring in the Assassin's Trophy as well. So, and I'm leaving the Massacre Worm in, and I think it's just in case, you know, they want to make a bunch of 1/1 servos, considering removing it. Okay, no, we'll run this one back. All right, how's this hand look? I think we're okay. We do need 2 black if we want to cast either of our Scavenger or our Voidwalker. But we're 1 mana away from Maelstrom Pulse, and we'll have Snuff Out out. Snuff Out up. Again, free spells, very, very good. So I think we'll keep this one. Opponent leads out on Plains and pass. See, there's a 3rd mana. Unfortunately, it's a green source. Black source would have been hot. Boros Signet for our opponent. Really looking for some artifact hate. All right, and a Lotus Petal. Third green source. All right, that's unfortunate. We will get the Scavenging Ooze down. Not a lot of targets right now. Oh, Stone. Okay, well, I think that's a Maelstrom Pulse target. Fyndhorn Elves about a turn too late. Let's get this O-Stone out of here. And we'll get in for 2. Really need that second black source. Coercive Portal. Okay. Wish they would have led on that one. Regisaur can put on some pressure. We'll attack in, and then we'll plan to play Regisaur and Fyndhorn Elves post-combat. Our opponent's going to be under some pressure here. It's about as much as I want to commit to the board. They vote Homage, we vote Homage. All right, yeah, that's unfortunate. There's a Wrath of God. All right, well, swamp off the top, please. Forest. All right, we will pass back. Yeah, now they're drawing 2 cards a turn. We probably need a swamp off the top next turn to have a chance this game. Smokestack. That's going to get obtrusive. And a Retrofitter Foundry. Okay, so now they can make servos to sack to the Smokestack. If we had some pressure on the board like Voidwalker or Scavenger. Mox Pearl. All right, you helped us out so much last game, Mox Pearl. This game, you don't do it. Then our opponent shows us Fractured Identity. All right, thanks, opponent. All right, that game, we're just off a little bit of mana. A Wrath of God, we want to kind of side out a little bit. So Toski looks pretty good. I kind of just want to bring in these Planeswalkers because they'll survive the Wrath of God. So our opponent's on like Planeswalker Artifact Jazz. Like, I think we're poised well against this deck with as much artifact and Planeswalker removal that we have. I want to keep some of our creatures in. We need to keep some pressure on. Maybe just really rely on these 2 drops. Snuff Out can probably come out. There wasn't a lot of targets for it. I like Questing Beast, but I want to survive a Wrath of God. And take out the Infernal Grasp as well. They just weren't playing a lot of creatures. All right, I've got to mulligan this one. Oh, this is like a forest short from being awesome, but we can play Dauthi Voidwalker. Mox Pearl not helping here. If we do get a forest, like I'm just going to want an Assassin's Trophy probably anyway, so I think we can put back the Birds of Paradise. This is still I just didn't want to mulligan down to 5 on the play. Mulliganing to 6 on the play is still pretty bad. Our opponent searches up an island. There's Garruk Wildspeaker, probably the worst draw on the deck with double green pips. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should have mulliganed for a hand with more green mana. We'll play the Dauthi Voidwalker. Our opponent plays his Signet. Okay, Smuggler's Copter is at least a spell we can play. And hopefully this allow us kind of filter through our deck to get to some spells we can cast. Or some lands. Some green lands. Play around Daze here. Cast the Mox Pearl. All right, no Daze. All right, opponent taps for a Tangle Wire. Interesting. We're the guys with the pressure on the board, and they play a Retrofitter Foundry. Okay, so they have a lot of things to tap. I don't know about that Tangle Wire. We won't be able to get in with the Smuggler's Copter this turn, unfortunately, but we will just be able to attack with the Voidwalker. And honestly, I'm okay for the board to slow down a little bit here since we need to draw more lands. Not swamps, though. Opponent down to 13. This Voidwalker is unblockable because it's got Shadow. Shadow can only be blocked by creatures, other creatures with Shadow. Oh no, our opponent placed their triggers wrong and had to tap 4 things. That's unfortunate. All right, then they play a Signet. So we will also tap But this time I'm going to plan to crew the copter just so we can filter a little bit here. Yeah, there's a Fyndhorn Elves we can't play. Dang it. That would have been great if we had a green mana get in for 6. Yep, we will draw and discard. Scrap Heap Scrounger. Okay, I think we got to just discard this Garruk Wildspeaker. I don't think it's getting played this turn. Next turn, we'll be able to play the Scrounger to crew the Copter and attack with the Voidwalker as well for another 6 points. I mean, our opponents don't have a decent amount of pressure here, and they have a Tanglewire out. Hopefully they stack their triggers correctly this time. All right, they do. Good job, opponent. All right, our opponent's got 5 mana. They tap all of it for Teferi. All right. They put the Voidwalker back, hoping that we don't have another creature. Fair enough. We will be able to play this Scrap Heap Scrounger. Ooh, Bio's even, well, yeah, Bayou's fine. We can play the Scrounger and the Fyndhorn Elves. We also have Assassin's Trophy as an option. It's too bad we didn't have that Fyndhorn Elves on the battlefield last turn. All right, well, we'll crew the Copter. We're going to have to get rid of this Teferi. So our opponent will save some damage here. This will allow us to filter a little bit, though. Get a card closer to that Voidwalker again. Reanimate? Yeah, that's no good with nothing in the graveyard. But Teferi down, and we can get this Fyndhorn Elves out. All right, our opponent plays a Metalworker. That's kind of scary. I think they may just want it as a blocker. Not sure. If they want it as a blocker, there's our Voidwalker. We knew we were drawing that. So we can Assassin's Trophy this thing. We can Bloodchief's Thirst this thing. Let's just Assassin's Trophy, I suppose. I think they're using it as a blocker. That, and there's a risk that they have a huge spell in hand. This will allow us to get in for 6. 7 if we want to play the Voidwalker. Let's see what we draw here. So we'll get in for 6. Though 7 could have made sense since we got 2/3 power attackers. So maybe a bit of a misplay. Oh, they have a spell to play. Retrofitter Foundry. Okay, yeah, okay. Just a blocker. That's fine. We will loot. There's a forest. Do I need a forest? Not anymore. So they do block. We'll get the Voidwalker down. Our opponent's got 8 mana available over there. Yeah, there's a Wrath of God again. Dang it. Okay. Kinda need some help now. Phyrexian Metamorph. What are they going to metamorph? Honestly, they should metamorph their Tanglewire. They metamorph the Smuggler's Copter? Alright. Oh, Pest Infestation off the top? And we can cast it twice? We can just take care of this Copter and the Retrofitter Foundry, and we can use a Pest to crew our Smuggler's Copter? Alright, no daze. Don't daze me, bro. Oh, yes. That felt awesome. We'll crew the Copter, get in for 3. Ditch this swamp, which we don't need. Oh, that Pest Infestation was amazing. Look at these hungry little boys out here. I mean, I guess our opponent needs to wipe the board again, but I'm not sure how. They've already used Wrath of God. Yeah, that does it. We win the match. All right. Great game. Great game.